Hello friends, welcome to my channel Power BI Skills. In this channel, I share with you a lot of tips, tricks and best practices we can use in Power BI in order to create stunning dashboards. Today's video is for beginners who know nothing about Power BI tools. In this video, we will discuss what is Power BI, what are the benefits of Power BI, and what are the various components of Power BI. Then we will be developing a Power BI report from scratch. So what is Power BI? Power BI is a business intelligence software developed by Microsoft company, which is used to gather, process, analyze, and visualize large volume of past, current, and future data in order to generate actionable business insight, create interactive reports, which simplify the decision-making process of the management. In this definition, we have few keywords. We'll understand those keywords. What is business intelligence? The term business intelligence is used for the softwares that transform the data and present it in user-friendly views like dashboard, reports, charts, and this helps in decision making for the management. Now, what is visualize reports? The term visualize reports is used for converting the data to various visual charts like column chart, pie chart, bar chart, donut chart, etc. What is interactive reports? The term interaction means communication in literal way. Here the interactive reports are the reports which gives us an option to get desired data by selecting right parameters from filters or slicers available in the report. We will discuss and understand this with the help of example when we'll be creating a dashboard in Power BI. So let's move on. So here we have a simple example of what is raw Excel report and a Power BI report. If you see on the left hand side, we have an Excel report which is in raw form. So this is the Excel report with tons and tons of data, and by reading this report we cannot draw any meaningful conclusion. On the other hand side, we have a Power BI report which is very crisp and precise, and we can draw conclusions from this report. For example, in the given report, we can straight away say that the salesman Sam's performance is not up to the mark if we compare it with other salesmen like Chris and Joe. If you see the sales by state visual, we can say that in California, we are getting maximum sales, followed by Washington. And in sales by product, we can simply say that shirt sales contributes 48% of the total sales. So from these reports, we can easily read and draw the conclusion which would help us in decision making. So what are the benefits of Power BI? In Power BI, we can create stunning reports and dashboards in few minutes. It is easy to read and analyze large reports and thereby help in taking prompt and accurate decisions. Power BI is very simple and user-friendly software. There is no need to learn any kind of coding to use the software. It saves a lot of time as you just need to upload raw reports in Power BI and this tool will transform the data and convert this into meaningful visualization, which would help you to take accurate and timely decisions. In Power BI, we can input data from 100 plus sources, which includes Excel, CSV, text, Word, Outlook. There are 100 plus sources from which we can input or upload the data in Power BI. In Power BI, we have 250 plus visuals, including column chart, bar chart, pie chart, donut chart, waterfall chart visual, etc. It supports 1200 plus functions, which includes DAX functions and M functions in Power Query. Power BI is very cost-effective tool as compared to other business intelligence tools like Tableau and Alteryx. So now let's understand what are the different components of Power BI. So we have Power Query. So friends, if you have understanding of advanced Excel, then you must be aware of this term Power Query, which we are using to transform the data. So in Power BI as well, so we have an option to first transform the data with the help of Power Query. By transformation means like formatting the data, removing unwanted rows and columns, merging data fields, etc. Then another component we have in Power BI is the data model or a Power Pivot component, which helps in linking or relating the multiple data which we have uploaded through multiple sources. Then we have a Power View, which helps in visualizing the data. So we can convert the data into different forms of visuals, as we discussed earlier, like we have around 250 plus visual options available in Power BI. Then we have a Power BI app, or I would say Power BI web services, which would help us sharing the data and report with larger recipients through this Power BI app and web model. So in simple words, I would say the Power BI is a cluster of 4 softwares: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, and Power BI web services. Now, how do we get this Power BI app? So you have to download this Power BI app. There are 2 ways to download the Power BI app. If you get the Power BI desktop app, it is free of cost. You won't have to pay any charge if you are using it for just developing the report. But if you have to publish the report to the larger audience, then you would be needing a Power BI Pro license that would be chargeable. But here we'll be discussing about the Power BI desktop application, which is free of cost, which would help us to develop the dashboards. So first way is to get the Power BI desktop app is go to the Microsoft Store. So you go to Microsoft Store and in search, you have to write Power BI desktop. Once you search on that, the first option you will get this Power BI desktop. Since I have already installed it, it is appearing as installed. But in your case, you will get the option to install this app in your system. The other way to get the Power BI desktop app is to go to the Microsoft Power BI link. Power BI Microsoft link, and if you scroll down, you will get option to download Power BI desktop application. Just click on download, and then you will be able to download this Power BI app in your desktop. Once the Power BI desktop app is downloaded, then and installed, then it would give you an option to log in to the Power BI desktop app with the help of your work and business email ID. Once you sign up to Power BI app, you will get the screen where you will get various tutorials on how to build report, how to go to the query view, and so on. If you have time, you can refer to these tutorials. Those would be helpful. And once you download this app, you will get into this screen, which is our initial canvas, I would say, where we have to build the report. So we have a report view where we build all our reports and dashboard. Then we have a data view where all the data uploaded would be visible. Then we have a model view where we will link multiple tables together. So let's first upload the data in Power BI. So friends, this is the data set we'll be using to develop our Power BI report. This is the sales report having details of sales done by various salesmen, the product they have sold, and the state where these products are sold. In the other tab, we have a rate list showing the selling price of each of the products sold. Let's upload this data in Power BI. Here we are on the main screen of Power BI. We are getting multiple options to upload our data in Power BI. Here we have top 4 options, which are commonly used options, like uploading the data through Excel, SQL Server, and so on. In case you have to upload the data from some other sources, then you have to click on the option Get Data from Other Source. Here we'll get a list of 100 plus sources to upload the data. So this is the list of various options we'll be getting where we can upload the data. Since our input source is Excel, I'll select Excel and I'll click on Connect. I'll select my example, Power BI Basics, and I will open that. Then Power BI will ask about which tables we have to upload. So I have to upload a rate list and sales data set. I'll select both. And here Power BI will give me an option to either load the data directly or transform the data before loading it to Power BI. I'll click on transforming the data. Here, if you observe that my data headers are not appearing on the header row, these are appearing on the first row. So to move these data headers to the header row, I'll have to go to transform, and I will have to select the option use first row as header. I'll click on this and I'll get the proper header rows. You would also observe that in the first row there is no data. So it has all the null data. So I don't need this row. What I'll do, I'll click on the table option and I will select remove top rows. The system would ask about how many rows we have to remove from top. Since it is the first row only, I'll select one row and I'll click OK. So now this row is removed. Similarly, at the bottom, we have a couple of rows where there is no data. Let me show you. So you can see that we are getting null data in the bottom two rows. I'll follow the same procedure and select remove bottom rows, and here I will type 2 and click OK. So the top and bottom redundant rows have been removed. The other thing which I have observed, that my date column is not properly formatted. So for that, I will have to go to the data type option, and from the drop down I will have to select date, because it is currently showing as whole number, but this is the date. So once I select date, now my date is appearing properly. Now if you see other columns, sales manager should be in text, it is appearing correctly. You can see the format type is ABC, which denotes text, and T is in whole number, which is correct. It is appearing as 1, 2, 3 format type, which is a number. State is appearing correctly. I'll go to the rate list and I'll see even for rate list, format is showing correctly. Now friends, you can see on the right hand side, there is a table called applied steps. So these are the steps which we have just followed. So like we have removed top rows, removed bottom rows, and changed the format of the date. It is all recorded here. And this would be helpful when we will upload the data again. So then we won't have to do the formatting again. So let's say, for example, if I have uploaded the data for the year 2022 and I have done these formatting, I followed these steps, but later on, if I upload the data for 2023, system will automatically follow these steps and format my data. I won't have to do it again and again. Now, once this is done, I'll go to home. I'll click on close and apply to move this clean data to my Power BI. So now you can see that my data is uploaded. It is appearing on the right hand side. You can see all the columns are appearing here. This is the report view, which is the canvas where we have to create our report. And this is the data view where we can see our data, the data which has been uploaded. And the third is the model view, which is the second component of our Power BI component, which is Power Pivot. So since in this case we have two tables or data sets like sales data set and rate list, so we have to create a relationship between two. In this case, you would have observed that our Power BI is intelligent enough to automatically create a relationship between these two tables with the common identifier of product name. Let's say if Power BI has not created this relationship and we have to create this relationship manually, for that we'll have to go to manage relationship option over here. You can see this is already created. Let me just first delete this relationship. Let's say it was not created automatically by Power BI. I'll go to create this manually. I'll go to new. And from the drop down, I'll select my first table, which is sales data set. And I'll select product name. I'll select the second data set, which is automatically selected here. And again, I'll select the common field, which is a product name here. And I'll click on OK. And this relationship is now created. You can see that relationship line is appearing. Now I'll again go to the data view. Here I have observed that I have all the information like the quantity sold, the name of the salesman, state and others, but I don't have the sales value and selling price, which is there in my rate list. So first I'll bring the selling price to my sales data set. So for that I'll have to create a column. I'll create new column. I'll name this column as selling price. And here I would use a simple DAX function lookup value. I'll write lookup value and I'll first select the column which I have to bring to this table, which is a rate column. Then I'll have to select the common identifier or common field between these two columns, which is the product name in rate list, and then same common field in the sales data set, which is product name in sales data set. And I'll close the bracket, hit enter. And I've got my selling price. Now I have to calculate the sales value, which is multiplication of quantity and selling price. For that, I'll have to create a new column. I'll name this as sales and I will write quantity multiplied by selling price. Now I have both selling price and sales value in the sales data set table. I'll format this into dollar amount. So I'll select dollar. I'll select the sales column and now click on dollar to format the sales value as well. Now I am all set with my data. Let's now create our report. I'll start with creating a map visual. For that, I'll go to new visual and from visual options, I will select map. So this is a map or a globe icon which is appearing. I'll click on this. So now the map view is appearing. I will go to view and I will click on data. I will click on format to get the format on the right hand side, format option on the right hand side, and same the data option. So I'll click on the data option here on the right hand side. From the sales data set, I will select state and add this to the location field. So in this example, I have state information available in my sales data set, which shows like in which state we have made the sales. But if you have city, country, airport, any other location, then our Power BI system is intelligent enough to show all these cities, state, countries in the map itself. So you can see our map is showing all these location or states. Now I have to add the sales value in the bubble size. So once I add the sales value in the bubble size, so wherever we have made sales, wherever we have made a higher size, you can see a bigger size of bubble. When the sales is low, then you'll see a smaller size of bubble. Now I have to just move this to towards the right hand side. I would increase the size a bit. Okay, let me just format this visual. I'll go to format. I'll first change the title. I'll write this as sales by state. I will bold this title. increase the size to I would change the background to orange. I would change the text color to white, and let's align this to the center of the visual. Now, other thing which I'll do, I will go to bubbles and increase the size of bubbles to, let's say, 17 points. Now we can clearly see like in which state we have higher sales. I would also enable the category level so that I can easily see the name of the states as well. Now you can see in California we have maximum sales, followed by Washington and then other states. So my sales visual, my map visual is ready. I will just enable the visual border. For that, I'll go to size and style, and I will enable the visual border. I would also change the color of these bubbles to some different color. Let me first select this visual, and I will select the color of these bubbles to yellow. So now we have our sales by state, which is a map visual, which is ready. The another visual which I have to create is the column visual. For that, I will go to home. I will create new visual, and in this visual, I would select the stacked column chart, which is already selected here. I will add data. I would add sales. I would add name of the salesman. So I have added sales and name of the salesman. Power BI has created a bar chart, but I need a column chart, just a stacked column chart. So you can see the stacked column chart is created. I will create this. Now I will format this chart. For that, I'll go to format visual. I'll change the title to sales by salesman. And I would bold the title and I would align it to the center. In y-axis, I would select the title, change the title to amount in $1,000,000. I will bold this. I will go to data labels and enable data label. I would bold the data label so that those would be clearly visible. I will go to columns and change the column color. Let's say I will select other color. I would change it to green. So this column visual is ready. I would add the visual borders here. I'll go to size and style. and I will enable the visual border, and also select the map view and also enable the visual border in map view as well. Now the third visual which we have to create is the donor chart visual. I will select new visual and I'll place it here, and from visual options I would select donor chart visual. I would add data. In the legend I would select the product name. In values I would select sales. So you can see the donor chart visual is created. I will again the format this. I'll go to title and change the title to sales by product. Again I'll bold this and move this to enter. I would change the color of these slices. For blue I would select yellow, and for dark blue let me select, let's say, light blue. Okay, now it is good. And details label I would bold the values so that those would be clearly visible. Now our donut chart visual is also created. I would also add the visual borders. For that I will go to size and style. I will enable the visual border. Now I will add another visual, which is card. I'll select card here. I would select the total quantity here. Go to data, select the quantity and add here. Again I'll format this. I will go to visual and I will disable the category label, and I would rather enable the title and add the title total quantity. Bold it and align it to the center. And in visual borders, I would also enable the visual border, and I would need the rounded corner. I will change the corner to, let's say, 15x. So these are the rounded corners. Reduce the size a bit. So this is the card visual showing the total quantity sold. Now I have to add slicer here, so that if I want to see the data for a particular month or data for a particular product, so I can see that by adding the slicer. Before that, I would add a shape. So I will go to insert, I will go to shape, and I would insert a triangle shape. I'll change the color of the shape to orange. Okay. Now I would add slicer. For that, I'll again go to Home, New Visual, and from this option, I would select slicer. And from data, I would select product. I would change the format, go to format, visual. I would remove the slicer header. I would add slicer setting to drop down and selection to select all, and I will enable title and add text as product. I would change this to white and I will go to, I'll bold this. I'll go to size and style, go to background, and I will increase the transparency to 100%, and I will enable the visual border and change the color of visual borders to white, and I need a rounded corner, so I'll increase the rounded corner to 15 pixels. So this is the filter for product which we have created. I will copy this filter and create the duplicate by pasting it. And here I will change the name of this filter to, first I will remove the data from this filter because here I need a different data. Instead of product, I need a date. In date, because it is in hierarchy, I would be needing a date hierarchy, and that hierarchy I would be needing only year and month. I will change the title to month or say period. I'll go to format and title. I'll change the title to period, and that's it. I think we have two filters ready, one for month and year and other for product. I would add a text box and I will write here filters, increase the size to 20. I will bold this, align it to the center, and I would change the color to white, and I would reduce the, and I would change the transparency of this background to 100. So now we have filters here. One last thing I have to do is I have to add the header. So for that, I would go to insert, shape. I would again select the rectangle shape. I would move this here. I would go to size and style. and change the fill color to white, and I would add text here. So I will enable text. I would write sales report, bold, font color would be black, increase the size to 30, and I would disable the border in this case. So friends, you can see this dashboard is ready. I would just place this in the center. Now, in the filters, let's say if you want to see the report for one product, let's say shirts, you will get the data for shirts only. So we have sold 612 shirts total, and Chris has sold the maximum number of shirts, which is 212,000. And in California, we have sold maximum number of shirts as compared to other states. Similarly, for other products, we'll get the data for different products. And in the similar manner, if we have to get the data for a particular period, let's say I want to see the data for 2023 only, so we'll get the data for 2023 and so on. So this is why we call this as interactive dashboard. So basis of our requirement, we select the right parameters and we'll get the right data. So friends, I hope you have understood and learned how to create a dashboard in Power BI. So as I've already mentioned that I have saved this raw data set in my description of this video. So you can use that data set and start preparing this sales report on your own. Thanks for watching, friend. We'll meet in our next video. Till then, bye. Take care.